Live from the AOC studios, deep in the heart of downtown Lafayette, Louisiana. It's fun. It's excitement. It's Jacob walking in the camera shot. Thank you. I appreciate it, good sir. It's been a long time since we've been here.
You know what? I'm going to get a second stool. Because that's not going to fit. I'm going to get another.
There's an X-Lax joke there, but I'm not going to make it. Yeah, it's been a while since we've been here. Hopefully you haven't forgotten about us. We'll explain why we haven't been here. We'll explain why, well, there may be some changes coming to your AOC schedule in the very near future. That's too far away. Let's see what you can do here. Let's put these here. There we go. Yes, that's how you know it's been a while since we've been here, because we are organizing on the fly. I've got a makeshift desk here with 2 bar stools.
You said back out of the wide shot a little?
No, that shot's good. The camera you're moving is good.
Okay.
It's the other one. Zoom in just a tad bit because you can see the stools. That's better.
Okay.
Or better yet, zoom back out. Zoom back out. Zoom back out. Tilt up.
Up.
Up, there you go, like so.
Okay.
There you go. You see, because we got a little headroom, people can see the blinds behind us. And the best part about this, I don't know if you can see the monitor out there. Yeah, look at the monitor there. In this particular shot, we've got 3 meta monitors.
Ooh.
That's the best part about everything. You're getting me in real time. You've got this one right, these 2 monitors right here, where you're seeing my arm move in real time, and then you've got the true meta monitor behind me, where you're seeing what I did 3 seconds ago going on. This should be an interesting show tonight. Let me move over a little bit so you can see all 3 monitors. All right, let's enough of that. We'll go to this camera. Good evening. Oh, Lord, we're dark. Can you open up the iris here?
Yep.
Man, look, I know no, I'm not. I'm not going to go there. We're just a tad bit dark tonight. We need to open that iris. There's no way we're getting another light in here, but we can at least open the iris. There we go. That's much better. Hi, folks. It's been a while. Long time no see. This is 124 East Main. I'm Ian Ozan. Happy that you are here with us this evening. We've not been here the last, 2-3 weeks, mostly because I've been sleep deprived. We are in the middle of softball season, which means I've been doing a lot of running lately. There's been a lot of softball games. There have been a good number of those games that have taken me outside of the city of Lafayette and the parish of Lafayette. And because of that, with all the running around and with still chasing the ice gators and still doing everything else, we just haven't had the time to do 124 East Main. Not had the energy to do 124 East Main. So, by some miracle, probably some miracle called 5-hour energy, we are here this evening and doing the show. And we've got a lot to cover because we've not been here in the last 3 weeks. Of course, we've got the legislative session to discuss. We've got both the special and the regular legislative session to discuss. We have the presidential campaign that we've not touched. You just heard the wrestling nerds a few minutes ago talking WrestleMania. We'll talk a little bit about that. Tying that in, Road Warrior Animal's son signed by the New Orleans Saints. Why am I blanking on James Laurinaitis' name? There it is. James Laurinaitis signed by the Saints. Lots of other stuff going on here and around Acadiana. For those of you who do want to get in, the phone number is, there we go, the phone number is right there, 337-366-8951. No need to press an extension. We are live. It is March the 22nd of 2016. So go ahead, get in on the show. Feel free to give us a call. It does feel a little bit strange to be back here on a Tuesday night. Again, it's been a long, long time since we've been here. And as we mentioned, because of the umpiring, I came in my umpire uniform. I took the shirt off, so hence the white T-shirt this evening. But it's not because we're trying to go. Let's see, which camera are we? We're right here. We're that one. It's not because we're trying to be too informal, but the fact of the matter is, it was just a matter of necessity. We didn't get a chance to go home and change before the show started. The one bit of housekeeping that I do need to mention is that 124 East Main is in limbo right now, and the reason for that is life. John Lennon, the great philosopher, once said that life is what happens to you when you're busy making other plans. Now, we've been doing this show now for 8 years. June 16th will be the 8th anniversary of 124EMain's sign-on. And it's been a great 8 years. It's been a wonderful run. But, you know, life has a strange way of making you realize that maybe it's time to stop. Maybe it's time to walk away. And with recent developments at my real job, I may be forced to do that. I'll be moving off the early morning shift and moving back to a daytime work slot, but because of that, my new work schedule would conflict with 124 East Main, would conflict with doing the show that we do now on Tuesday nights. We've moved the show several times already. We started on a Monday night. We moved to Saturday nights back in the college days. We stayed on Saturday nights for a long time. Moved back to Monday nights. Moved back to Saturday nights. And here we are for the last, not even a year yet. We've been here on Tuesday nights in the spot formerly occupied by Mark Allen Pope and the Talkmeisters. And it's been a pleasure to have this wonderful time slot, to have inherited the viewers. But the one thing's for certain is that if 124 East Main continues, it cannot continue in a Tuesday night time slot. While I've not yet decided whether or not 124 East Main will take a hiatus at the end of May, or starting at the end of May, I do know that one thing is for certain, that effective, I'm going to have to check the date on this, whatever that last Tuesday in May is. Let's see. Effective May 24th. May 24th would be our final Tuesday night show if everything goes according to plan. Tuesday night, May the 24th, may be our final, or will be our final Tuesday night show. It may also be our last 124EMain for a while. I'm still up in the air with that. I spoke with our good friend Ed Bowen, the executive director here at AOC. He's like, and he was disappointed when I told him that the show may have to end. And it got me rethinking and reconsidering whether we'll keep the show. And the thing with 124 East Main is that in all of its various incarnations, the one thing that I love about this program is that it's an open forum for those of you who watch. Sure, it's a mouthpiece and a soapbox for me to say whatever it is on my mind. And believe me, we've taken full advantage of that over the 8 years we've been here on the air. But the best part about doing the show is the wide variety of guests, the wide variety of callers, and the wide variety of topics that have been featured on this program. Just for an example, next week, Keith Broussard will be in here to talk about Lafayette Regional Airport and DBA's disadvantaged business, or DBE's disadvantaged business enterprises, and his fight to have the airport pursue more DBE contracts. In a couple weeks, I haven't nailed down a final date yet, Chubby Carrier will be here in studio talking Festival International. We'll have him on sometime in the next 3 to 4 weeks. Again, an exact date to be determined. I would like to get Mayor President Joel Robideau in here. We had Joey on a couple times during our most recent Monday night run, but we've not yet had Joel Robideau in here. I need to reach out to him, see if we can get him on. Lil Fale just a few weeks ago, another musician we've had in here. We have had a wide swath of guests here on 124EMain, even dating back to the very beginning, where the show was a panel show before I was by myself, before life happened to everybody else. before Jobs and Marriages and Children took Nick Mayall and Tyler Francois and the rest of the cast of characters away. This was a creative outlet. It was a sounding board, and it was a wonderful, wonderful enterprise, for lack of a better phrase. But again, sometimes if you love it, you have to let it go. I'm prepared to let it go, but part of me wants to hold on. The question is, which is stronger? The desire to hold on or the desire to let it go and take a break and see what happens from there? If we take a break, we of course would always have the opportunity to come back. Because the beauty of the Acadiana Open Channel is that even if you go away for a little while, you can always make a return. It's happened here at AOC many times with other programs and other hosts doing a show, stepping away for a year or two, and then coming back with other various projects. I'm this close to doing that. As much as I enjoy the interaction, I've got to worry about my sanity, my health, and my sleep schedule. But also, most importantly, with the opportunity that's now presenting itself with me at KATC, that obviously will trump this show, which for the last 8 years has been a major part of my life. We'll make a decision soon. It may not be next week or even the week after. But in the very near future, we will let you know whether or not 124 East Main will continue past May. I would love to do one final show on June the 16th, the exact 8th anniversary, just to kind of close everything out, to have a little bit of finality if we do end it. I don't know if we'll be able to do that. It's even hard to think about ending the show. It's hard to think about suggesting walking away. Only because of the good times that we've had here. But that is an option that we will have to explore, an option that we have to seriously consider, and we are seriously considering. Again, it just seems weird that 124EMain may be coming to the end of the road, as it were. And if it does come to the end of the road, if we do decide to walk away from this in the next 5 weeks or so, we're going to have some fun with it. Maybe we'll play Trivial Pursuit on air again. Hey Jake, you heard that?
What's that?
If 124 East Main rides off into the sunset in a few weeks, we've got to play one more round of Trivial Pursuit.
Yeah, man.
And if 124EMain ends its run, Jake and Paul Off the Wall might have to move to Tuesday nights.
Oh, shoot.
But, again, it's all, at this point, certainly not official. Nothing certainly is decided. I'll take my time and think this through. Will we move to another night? May we move to a Sunday night? I don't know. May we just say, happy trails, it's been real. Maybe so. I don't know. Everything's on the table at this point. Nothing's been decided. But I want you to know that should we do in this show, we're going to have one hell of a going away party, and we're going to make the last month and a half of 124 East Main some of the best that we've done here. Though with that said, I don't know if we can ever top the show where we figured out how many licks it takes to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop. I think I've got that on DVD somewhere. I'm going to have to go find that tape and rerun it just for kicks and giggles. How many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop? Back from 2010, the third season of this show. Or quite possibly we do that, we just do seasons of the show. Instead of doing a weekly series year-round, we do January through June or July through December. I don't know. It's still all at this point very, very speculative. I'm not sure what exactly we'll do at this point. Now, if we do sign off the air, and if 124 East Main does go away at the end of May, we got to figure out what to do with all these studio set pieces. We've got to find homes for them. The only thing that's not going away will be the owl. That's mine. The rest of this, so we've got set pieces I'm sure we can auction off at some point. I kid. No, Ed Bowie right now is at home wondering what in the world I'm talking about. We're just picking on you, Ed. But 124 East Main may be riding off to into the sunset, maybe, at the end of May. If it does, then so be it. If not, then we'll continue to do what we do here on the Acadian Open channel. We'll just have to be on a different night. Again, going from working overnights to working a regular day shift is going to affect our schedule here at 124 East Main. 366-8951 is the phone number. That is how you get in with us this evening. 366-8951 for those of you who want to talk. And right now it's pretty much an open phone line, open discussion this evening. We've not gotten on any one particular topic just yet because we spent the last 15 minutes doing housekeeping. Again, we've been gone for the last 2 to 3 weeks. So we've missed a lot. I'll start with the presidential campaign because last time we were here, there were 5 candidates left. Now there are only 3. John Kasich, Ted Cruz, and Donald Trump. The Democratic race doesn't appeal to me for one reason only. And that's because that election has been bought and paid for already. We know Hillary's going to get the nomination. We know Bernie is, again, great candidate. I like the guy. I like some of his ideas. But he doesn't have a snowball's chance in hell against Hillary Clinton. He's not going to win the nomination. The Republican side of things, though, presents a more interesting dynamic. Does John Kasich do what Bill Clinton did in 1992? Come from being the dark horse, being the underdog who didn't have a chance of winning the nomination to actually winning the nomination? Do moderate Republicans rally around him and push him to the victories he needs in the remaining caucuses leading up to the convention? Does Ted Cruz do enough attacking of Donald Trump to work his way back into the lead and work his way to a nomination? Or does Donald Trump continue the dominance that he is showing so far in the Republican race? And the reason why these scenarios are so interesting is because it'll be intriguing to see how the Republican convention stacks up. Will we have a contested convention? Will there be portions of the Republican Party or members of the Republican Party, more moderate to slightly right-leaning Republicans, who break away and form a third party as a means of repudiating Trump and running their own candidate? Does someone else emerge as a viable third-party candidate? Michael Bloomberg already said he's not going to run. But is there somebody else who can jump into the race and take a moderate Republican vote, while also at the same time taking moderate to liberal votes away from Hillary Clinton? Because Hillary right now is not exactly the most liked person in the Democratic Party herself. Is there one person who can emerge, steal votes from both parties, and throw the presidential election into complete disarray? There was one scenario, I forget if it was Huffington Post or if it was Politico or Slate or whatever the case was, but one of these online publications was discussing the fact that for the first time since, let's see, when was the last time Congress decided a presidential election? Was it John Quincy Adams in 1824, I think it was? For the first time in nearly 200 years, a United States presidential election could be decided by the House of Representatives. If that happens, there's no telling who could wind up winning the election. Now, granted, whoever the top vote getters are would be in, I believe it's the top vote getters, maximum of 3, appear on the first ballot for Congress, and then they work their way. Then the legislators work their way down until they have a clear winner. But is there a possibility of someone jumping into the race, someone taking votes away from both established parties and creating chaos in the presidential election? Is there an opportunity here for a third party to be formed by disaffected Republicans who would be joined by moderate to right-leaning Republicans who have no desire in having Donald Trump as their nominee? I don't think we're going to see 1968 again at the Republican convention, or at least we're not going to see repeated the 1968 Democratic convention with the Republican convention in Cleveland. But I would expect to see some sparks flying during the convention this summer. The Democratic convention is going to go off without a hitch. It'll be lovey-dovey, Hillary, yay, woohoo. The Republican convention, though, will be one to watch and to see how things progress and how things pan out. Donald Trump right now certainly not making any friends with his rhetoric, certainly not making any friends with the violence happening at his rallies. And I know there are some people who are in favor of Trump and his rhetoric and his bullying and the folks at his rallies who are fighting back and are heckling and punching reporters and protesters. But in American civil society, there's a time and a place for everything. And when it comes to presidential politics, there's no place for wanton violence. There's no place for the language that we've seen from Donald Trump. Though, with that said, at the very least, I will give Donald Trump credit. Instead of using dog whistle politics, he's just outright calling the dog, saying, "Here, boy!" He's at least outright playing to the fears of white Americans who are afraid of losing their racial majority. There are no ifs, ands, or buts about it. That's why he's campaigning on keeping Mexicans out and building a wall. There's a reason why he talks about making America great again. I would love to know. I don't think anybody's ever asked Donald Trump, why is America not great? When did it stop when did it stop being great? When did America need a savior in Donald Trump to make it great again? Those are questions that Trump really has not answered yet, and quite frankly, I don't know if he would have an answer to those questions. It's not as if Donald Trump is coming in to rescue Vince McMahon of the World Wrestling Federation. If he wanted to run on a platform of making wrestling great again, I could understand that because, well, wrestling does need a savior right now. But I digress. That's neither here nor there. Looking at the United States, what stopped it from being great? And if the answer is President Obama, then Donald Trump is even more short-sighted than I gave him credit for. The fact of the matter is of the 3 Republican candidates who are running for president right now, only 2 of them have given some sort of substance in the campaign for presidency. John Kasich and Ted Cruz. Donald Trump is a walking soundbite. He is a walking sound machine. And I know that in this day and age of multimedia politics and the 24-hour news cycle, you kind of have to do that. But Trump does not, or let me go back and rephrase that. Trump has not given anything or has not said anything that would suggest that he has a true platform for furthering the growth of America, for furthering the growth of the economy, for fixing the deficit, for balancing the budget, for getting the United States away from dependency in foreign nations when it comes to credit and oil. He has not said anything that would suggest he even knows what the hell to do should he become president. At least Ted Cruz and John Kasich, you could make a small argument for them at the bare minimum of what they would do if they were elected president. Agree with them or disagree with them. At least they've got some sort of platform. Donald Trump hasn't shown his platform yet. All it's been is the platitude, make America great again. Agree or disagree with him, Bernie Sanders has a platform. Agree or disagree with her, Hillary Clinton has a platform, sort of. Donald Trump doesn't. He never has. Frankly, I don't know if he ever will. And the more that he continues in this race, the more that I think that he's been put up by the Clintons, by Hillary Clinton, to run and throw the election to her. Keep in mind, folks, Donald Trump thought about running in 2012, about the same time that Hillary Clinton was mulling to run for the presidency. Hillary said, nah, I'm not going to run this go-around. Donald Trump said, deuces, I'm out of this one too. Fast forward 4 years later, Hillary runs, Donald Trump decides to run. These two pals, or former pals anyway, behind the scenes, running their own campaigns, leading their own parties right now when it comes to delegates. And if you believe any of these surveys that are out there, Hillary would beat Donald Trump head to head. At the end of the day, the cynic in me wants to think that this is a total setup and that those who are supporting Donald Trump don't realize, or they're either blinded by the smoke or they refuse to see through it, that Donald Trump is essentially handing the election over to Hillary Clinton. It's amazing that there's some in the Republican Party who don't see this. But I guess ignorance is bliss after all. (366-8951), the phone number for those of you who do want to get in. I forgot to mention, we have a Twitter page here, at 124EMain, for those of you who do want to get in and want to tweet us. I have not checked the 124EMain Twitter, which, not that it matters, apparently nobody has tweeted us lately. Speaking of Twitter, I'm looking at last week. Apparently, if you missed ABC World News tonight, what day would that have been? That would have been last Monday, the 14th. You missed an excellent sign about Hillary Bill and tying into the Lewinsky scandal. I can't repeat it on the air because it's a family show. But the sign is just absolutely fantastic. Caller, you're live on 124 East Main.
You know that what's going on?
What's going on, man? I'm happy I got you on the phone because, you know, you can, you will appreciate what I'm about to tell you.
All right.
I've umpired, I think, let's see, this is the second straight night I've umpired. I have three games this week. Last week I had another 3 games. This last week has just been absolutely brutal on me as an umpire. Last Tuesday, I took a foul tip unprotected to my collarbone because my chest protector slipped on me.
Right.
Last night, I took a 55-mile-an-hour fastball right here on my arm. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but the lacing from the softball is still imprinted in my arm. To make matters worse, last night, exactly one pitch after I got hit in the arm, I got in my set position to call pitches. My pants burst on me right down the seam, and I didn't have any backup pants with me. So I had to call a full 6 innings with a hole in my pants.
That's why I didn't come back and umpire this year. Every year I've been saying I'm gonna come back next year.
Yeah. No, after, and then tonight over at Opelousas Catholic, foul ball. It was a ground ball, a bouncing round ball, hit foul along the first base line. I'm at first base, and I'm reading the ball. I'm watching it, and I moved to get out of the way of the ball. I thought it cleared it. The ball hits a divot or a rock or something, and with the spin that it had, it caromed and came straight for me. I swear to God, I'm a ball magnet. You know Jerry Duplichin, right?
Yeah, I used to call a few playoff games with him in New Orleans a couple of years back.
Right. Jerry's wife, Marie, used to umpire at Pelican with us. She's now retired. She's in the USSSA Hall of Fame. Marie used to joke that she was a ball magnet because she would get hit no matter where on the field she was. She would always get tattooed at least once a night. I'm starting to feel like Marie. Jerry always managed not to get hit. How, I don't know. Marie always got tattooed. And you know what? I'm starting to understand why she walked away when she did. It's been rough. I got bruises all over me.
Jerry tonight, you said?
Say what?
You called again with Jerry tonight?
No, I didn't call with Jerry, but I used to, back when I still called at Pelican on a regular basis, I used to work with Jerry and his wife Marie. And Jerry, when he officiated at Pelican, and even to this day as a baseball umpire, I've never seen him work a game where he took a direct shot from a ball. I'm sure he has, but I've never seen it. Marie, though, on the other hand, when she worked Pelican, working slow pitch games, when I worked with her, she would always get tattooed either by a line drive or by a foul ball. She would always get hit. She was a ball magnet. I'm starting to feel like Marie now because the last week, these balls have been finding me left and right in places I didn't realize could hurt that much.
Yeah, it happens. I've been hit a bunch of times everywhere the same way.
But yeah, now I understand why you didn't come back, and quite frankly, after the last week, I don't blame you.
I was supposed to come back last year, I didn't come back. I was supposed to come back this year, didn't come back.
Yeah.
Come back next year. I'll come back next year, I think.
Yeah.
So, you were talking about Donald Trump. You think, so you don't think Donald Trump would have any kind of chance against Hillary Clinton?
If I said if you believe the polls, and again, the polls have been wrong. I don't think he would carry enough of the big states to win the electoral vote. But again, I think the bigger problem for the Republican Party right now is not does Trump have not. Let me take a step back and rephrase it because I'm about to butcher the English language if I don't. The problem with the Republican Party right now isn't if Donald Trump can beat Hillary. Because again, depending on who you ask or who you believe, you can get a poll to say anything you want. That's the nature of the beast now because you have so many polling agencies that can skew the result any which way. The bigger problem for the Republican Party right now is will you have a group of moderate Republicans go rogue and break away and sponsor their own third-party candidate? That, I think, is a bigger issue for the Republican Party right now. because there's a lot of talk about it. There's rumor that it might happen. There's rumor that Mitt Romney might want to get involved. There's rumors that some other moderate-leaning Republican with money can get into the race. And again, we know the reason why Donald Trump is surviving so long right now is mostly because he's got the money to do it. That's why he's stuck around. How in the hell Marco Rubio lasted as long as he did is amazing to me. I don't know how he did it. But Trump has had staying power because he's got the money. If moderate Republicans or those who are not enamored with Donald Trump decide to break away and form their own wing of the Republican Party or form a completely different third party, will they put someone up who A, will take votes away from Donald Trump and get more moderate Republicans to vote their way, but also B, will they pull votes away from Hillary Clinton? Because I can tell you right now, I think you and I know, you and I can see it, Stevie Wonder can see it, Hillary's going to win the Democratic nomination. But the fact of the matter is, not all of the Democratic base likes her. Quite frankly, there's a good subsect of the Democratic Party that would wish she would go away. If
Democrats not going to have the same turnout Obama had, I know that.
Well, exactly, and that's
they're worried in their boots.
And that's part of the reason why, and that's part of why Hillary should be worried should a third party candidate come along. If this hypothetical third party is created, or someone with deep pockets runs as an independent with a moderate track record, a moderate political record, it could wind up screwing over both the Republicans and the Democrats. Whoever gets the Republican nomination, whether it's Trump, whether it's Cruz, whether it's Kasich, doesn't matter. They're going to wind up losing votes. Same thing with Hillary. Question is, can a theoretical third-party candidate take enough votes away from both of them to where nobody wins a majority of the Electoral College and forces Congress to determine the new president? There's a lot of interesting stuff at play here. Now, I don't know if I'm reading too much into it. I don't know if some of the articles I've read on Slate and Politico and Huffington lately are, if they're looking for the doomsday scenario or what the case might be. What I do know for certain, though, is come July and August when these conventions are taking place, it's going to be must-see TV. It's going to be better. It's going to be better television than ESPN.
You know, a couple of weeks back, I saw David Plouffe. I know you know who he is.
Who's that? David who?
David Plouffe. That was Obama's top advisor.
Yeah.
Campaign. Anyway, I saw David Plouffe, Howard Dean, and somebody else I forgot. Not Democrat strategist, and they all said the same thing. They all said, "Do not sell Donald Trump short, because number one, you don't know what kind of turnout he's going to bring. There's 4 or 5 states that the Democrats won close last time, but this guy is about to be flipped. And all bets are off. They said there will never, like you just said, there will never be a campaign. There's never been a campaign like this in the history of the country. So the bottom line is, they said they would prefer to run against somebody like Cruz or Rubio, because you know where they're coming from. You don't know what Trump going to do.
And they're absolutely right. And I think Howard Dean and the others who've been around the game for a long time.
They said they better not sell him short.
No, they're absolutely right. And the thing with that is, if
they got people voting, they're coming out of woodwork and they're coming out the woods and under the beds and from under the rocks to vote right here, man.
Right.
Now the turnout is, so I don't know what's going to happen, you know? I tell you, real quick, talk about Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney needs to go back under the rock he came out of. This guy, to me, should have been a shoe-in. He ran the most pitiful campaign. I'm going to say it this way, black Mitt Romney, man, get out my face.
But here's the thing with Mitt Romney, though, and I think Mitt was doomed from the get-go because the Republicans mailed that election in. They didn't campaign well with him. He ran a good campaign, he ran a solid campaign, but I don't think the Republicans were fully sold behind him. They didn't put their full support behind him, and President Obama, like him or hate him, had all the momentum going into that election. If Romney would have run as John McCain's running mate in 2008, or for that matter, if anybody other than Sarah Palin is John McCain's running mate, I think McCain wins that election. The Republicans have screwed themselves over time and time again when it comes to presidential elections, especially the last two. Sarah Palin running mate with John McCain? Why would you do that? With Mitt Romney and Paul Ryan, I don't think the Republican Party was fully invested or fully interested in that race. You look back at it now and you wonder, why didn't they mount an all-out attack or a wholehearted attack on the president, his initiatives, and what he's done? For as much bitching and moaning as people do about the president's initiatives, it seemed like they were playing nice with it. They didn't launch a scorched earth attack, which you've seen in local elections. You look at
Mitt Romney wanted to stay above board and take the high road. So you got, huh?
Yeah, and if you look at local elections. And I'm going to get to this a little bit later on when I talk about the legislature. You look at local elections, whether it's legislative, whether it's gubernatorial races, even mayor's races. National politics has now seeped into the local political discussion. Case in point, the governor's race here in Louisiana last year. David Vitter went scorched earth early on, and it backfired on him. John Bel Edwards, when he shot back, started using Vitter's own record, aside from the prosecution, against him. The fact of the matter is, while we're seeing it on a local level, we still haven't seen fully on the national scale presidential candidates start using Obama against each other. If the Republicans were smart, they would they would do what local candidates are doing. Say that their opponents are more like Obama than they are. After all, if Obama is still the selling point is still the buzzword for attacking someone, why haven't the Republican presidential candidates used it against each other yet? They haven't. They haven't talked about the Affordable Care Act. They haven't talked about the stimulus or the bailout of the auto industry. There we go. It's amazing that there's so much ammunition here that they can use against each other, because Ted Cruz has been around long enough that he can be considered an insider excuse me, in Washington. John Kasich is a governor of Ohio. I guarantee you they can find something in his record that's more left-leaning than the Republicans would like, and they can attack him on that. But they've not. Instead, it's been Donald Trump talking about a wall and making America great again. That's why he's getting votes, is because he's talking about a damn wall with Mexico.
I want to make a quick comment on something you just said about the Affordable Care Act, and I really don't want to talk about it. I just want to make a quick comment.
Yeah.
The Affordable Care Act really didn't turn out as great as everybody thought it was going to be. If you get the subsidy or you get Medicaid, it's great. If you got to pay full, you get the shaft.
Yeah, and that's what happens. And I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad you mentioned that, because I forget. I think it was Vox.com, Vox, recently did a story, a long-form story, or was it Bill Moyers? It might have been Bill Moyers, wrote a long-form story about Billy Tozan, the former congressman from Assumption Parish. I believe he's from Assumption. But about Billy Tozan and his work for Big Pharma, and how his work as a lobbyist has essentially helped screw the American people. Their words, not mine. Helped screw the American people out of money because of concessions Congress has given Big Pharma through his lobbying. Part of the reason why the Affordable Care Act is not what it should be, or not what the president would have liked, is because Big Pharma and Big Insurance were able to get to Congress, have them rework the plan drastically. That way they still were able to get the cut. Do you really think that bill would have passed if pharmaceutical companies and insurance companies wouldn't have gotten their quote-unquote fair share? That's the only reason it passed, is because they were able to manipulate it and get it to where it benefited them.
It's like Obama and Nancy Pelosi had retail Obamacare. Gonna see if every family is $2,500. Yeah, wait for that. I got people in my family had insurance and they don't have it now because they make too much for the subsidy. They don't make enough to to pay for it.
Yeah.
But anyway.
It's a flawed system. It needs to be reworked.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I agree with you. It's a flawed system. It needs to be reworked. And the sad part is the United States, and people talk about universal health care as if it's one of the signs of the beast. Universal health care has been discussed in the United States since Harry Truman's administration, at least. Matter of fact, it nearly passed in 1947. It came a few votes short of becoming law. So from at least 70 years, the United States has been discussing and talking about universal health care, a single-payer system. And back in 1947, it was demonized as communist and socialist, which is why it didn't pass. But the fact of the matter is we're still sitting here 70 years later trying to figure this stuff out. It makes you wonder, what in the world are we doing? We're just sitting here twiddling our thumbs. Agree with it, disagree with it, that's one thing. But hell, we should have at least had some sort of resolution by now that would have satisfied everybody.
Yeah, you're right about that.
But it's a weird world.
So I think he's from Chakabee or something like that.
Yeah, I forget which parish Chakabee is from, or Chakabee is in, but you're correct.
But you're right. Yeah, big farmer man, they just kind of put the screws to the people, you know.
Yeah, it's.
You know, what you were saying? I'm gonna talk to you in a few more minutes. I'm gonna go.
Okay.
Before I got off the stuff when I said about the Obamacare, what were you saying?
We were talking about Trump before that.
No, I know what I want to say. Yeah, this. I am not a big Donald Trump fan. Okay? I'm not a big Donald Trump fan, but I definitely can't vote for Hillary Clinton. But get back to Donald Trump. These people, there are people that are coming to some of these campaign rallies, and they're coming there for one purpose and one purpose only, and you know what they're coming for.
Oh, absolutely.
They're coming there to rebel rouse and cause trouble and all these shenanigans. So I say to these people, if you keep getting somebody, if somebody keep putting their foot in your rear end, I got no problem. Look, if you don't like Donald Trump, vote against the guy. Don't go block the highway and block the road and do all this shenanigans, come inside, start trouble. A lot of these people just playing. You know it and I know it. So in that respect, you know what I mean, like me, local elections, if I'm gonna, you know, I supported Brian Polk. So I went to Brian Polk function. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I didn't go to the other people's function. That's how I was supporting. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
What you think about that?
Now,
you're gonna come there by yourself. Don't come there just to start trouble. If you can, somebody gonna put their foot somewhere.
I agree with you, and I'm gonna add something to that. You're absolutely right. Blocking streets, it's one thing to do a peaceful protest. Blocking streets and disturbing the peace doesn't do anybody any good. And you're right. I think it might serve folks better if they just stayed away, let Trump do his thing, and not give him any more undue attention. Because quite frankly, I'm tired of hearing about him. That's just me personally. But I think going back to what you're talking about with rebel rousers, going to Trump events, I think it plays both ways as well. Because I think there's a certain subset of Donald Trump supporter that goes to his rallies, his campaign events, looking for someone to punch or looking for someone to insult or to heckle. Case in point, Donald Trump makes a point every time that he holds a rally to point out the media and to berate them. And keep in mind, Donald Trump, the way his rallies are situated, reporters don't have free reign to move or don't have the ability to move freely. Reporters are put in a pen in the middle of the room. They are held there until the end of the rally. So when Trump points them out, the crowd can boo at him, can hiss at him, and there have been some cases where there have been some reporters who encountered physical violence from members of Trump's audiences. I'm not talking about the dummy who put his hands on the Secret Service agent. He deserved what he got. But there are others who are there trying to do their jobs within the parameters that Trump is placing on them. Again, whether you agree with them or not, that's one thing. But they're trying to do their jobs while trying to avoid being physically assaulted by members of the crowd. Likewise, I think there are people who go there looking for a protester to pop up so they can play whack-a-mole with them. Is it right? Absolutely not. But I think with the attention that Trump's rallies are getting and the violence that that's surrounding these various rallies, I think it's creating a bigger mess than what ever should have happened. I'm not saying that the media should stop covering Donald Trump. On the contrary, it's our job and our duty to show what cluster those rallies are. I couldn't use the full word I want to use, but those rallies are clusters. We have to cover them. We have to show what's going on. But at the same time, I think the anti-Trump crowd has to play a smarter game than what they're doing. They're playing into his hands, and you're absolutely right. When people see folks disrupting traffic or disturbing the peace or doing something else in the name of opposing Trump, it makes people look at him sideways and say, "What the hell are you doing?" And it makes Donald Trump look like he's onto something. I know he's not, but it gives credence to what he's saying. And the one thing they don't want to do is give him credence.
Look, I'm gonna make two more quick comments on that. I really don't want to see Donald Trump or Ted Cruz in the White House, and I don't want to see Hillary Clinton and Bernie Sanders in the White House. Okay. Bottom line is, I'm left with one of them third party deals. You know, I don't know Hillary Clinton. I don't know. She just grates me. She just irritates me to no end. And my last comment is, I hate to say this. I hate to wake up every day and have Hillary Clinton in the White House, but even worse, please, political gods, don't do this to me. Please. I could never stomach this clown, idiot, Elizabeth Warren as vice president. So I'm begging the political gods, if we gotta have Hillary, please don't give me both of those.
It's not going to happen. Elizabeth Warren's already said she doesn't want it.
Thank God. Look, one more comment. I'm going to pop up in the one that meets for years. I'm going to pop up one of them folks next time you're on fire. I'm going to get you scheduled.
Sounds...
That's you too bad.
Hey, you know what? At least you know the rules, Lynn. And the thing with softball and baseball, there's some differences, but not many. At the very least, if you came to one of my games and you heckled me, I could appreciate it because at least you know what the hell you're talking about, unlike half the other folks. Say what?
I said I don't heckle umpires. I used to before I started umpiring. Once you umpire, you know it's a whole different ball game.
Oh, absolutely. And that's the thing. I tell people all the time. I did public address at Lamson Park for UL softball a couple weeks ago. That's 2,700 fans booing you as an umpire is not a pleasant experience. But I will say this, and I'm sure you can agree with this. The vast majority of people who complain about officiating or complain about umpiring have never read the rule book and they don't know the damnedest thing about what's going on in the field. I wish more people.
About 3 or 4 minutes. So.
I wish more people who complained about officiating and more people who are armchair umpires would actually get off their butts, go down to the association meeting, sign up, and learn how to become an umpire. Lord knows we need more people.
I guess you heard about my favorite stuff. I done told a few about the game. They don't have the guts to do that. Look, I'm going to run into you in the park real soon.
Sounds good, brother. Good hearing from you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. I should give Lynn co-hosting a co-hosting title. We did about 20 minutes together, and we have come to the end of the show. We are almost there. I'll leave with this. I didn't even get on the talk about the legislative session tonight. I'll save that for another evening. Earlier this evening, the shooting at the Boys and Girls Club right around the corner from here on Washington Street. Or I shouldn't say right around the corner, but not too far from here, across 2nd Street on Washington. A teen has been arrested in connection with that shooting. Jim Hummel and Marcel Fontenot. Or no, Jim's on vacation. Marcel and I think Alice Abbot's anchoring with her tonight. Marcel and Alex will have more on that situation in just a few minutes. But between this and the drive-by shooting that happened over the weekend on Jones Street, we as a community need to do better of taking care of our own people. I know that the NAACP and other folks and other organizations have been working hard to try to end the violence on this side of town. I know the Lafayette Police Department is doing what it can to keep our streets safe. But at the end of the day, we as a community have to step up and say enough's enough, that we're not going to tolerate this. How do we do that? I'm not exactly sure. But the fact that our young men and our young women are getting gunned down, that they're getting involved in violence and getting involved in activities that could lead them to a path of violence is absolutely unacceptable. We as a community need to do better, and we need to protect our children and keep them away from those societal dangers that could lead them to a world of hurt. We've got to do better, people. God willing, if the checks don't bounce, I'll see you back here next Tuesday night, 9 to 10, right here on the Acadiana Open channel. Stay tuned, more great programming on the way. Until next time, don't take life too seriously, folks. You're not getting out alive anyway. Good night, everybody.